Hey everybody, Matt Valenzich, service manager over here at Honda World again, shooting another video for you guys. I got my service rider Jason with me.
I'm Jason. I'm just going to tell you a few things about how to winterize your machines.
So first things we want to go over with you guys is just kind of talking about things that you should do, the processes that you should go through when you're doing these winterizations, summerizations. First thing that you guys should be doing is changing the engine oil and oil filters in the machines. So the best thing to do is get the machine running to running temperature. Make sure that the machine is nice and warm. The oil's had a chance to thin out a little bit with the temperature, and then shut the machine off, drain the oil and oil filters, replace those with new, and that's a good starting line on your oil change part of the winterization.
As far as fuel system goes, while you're doing that, while you're running the machine, getting up to temperature, if you have a carbureted machine especially, even fuel injected, you want to run a good stabilizer, the actual correct ratios for the stabilizer. Make sure you're running it, getting it through the system. As far as the carbureted machine goes, if you want to go complete, drain the whole system, go inside with a anti-rust type spray. Make sure it's fuel soluble. That definitely helps too. But if you just want to store for about 3 to 6 months, you can use a stabilizer. Make sure the system is full, especially if you're storing it outside. Drain the carburetor. You can just turn the fuel off if it is a fuel valve. Run the carburetor completely dry. After it's completely dry, keep that off. Try to start it a few times. That pressurizes that carburetor. Make sure that any of that fuel's through. If you can get through the fuel screw on the bottom, get that off and drain every little last bit. It definitely helps.
Also, another big thing too to do with these bikes before you put them in for storage is you can fog the cylinders and do some type of lubrication in the cylinders and the cylinder walls to make sure that the piston in the cylinder doesn't rust over the few months that it's going to be sitting without being ran, whether it be in your garage or outside in the shed or just even outside in open ambient temperature. With all those temperatures changing morning to night, it does create a lot of condensation and things, and so you want to make sure that your cylinder and your piston are protected with good oil. We've got this fogging oil down here that we can sell you if you want to come and get all the stuff that you need to do all these services. We've got everything here, and we can kind of give you some pointers as well. Other big thing is a battery maintenance on them. Good thing to do is to just pull the batteries out of the units and put them onto a charger.
These things are great. We have the tenders right here. You have no buttons, no settings. You just plug it in and you're good to go.
Yeah, the Optimate's the brand that we prefer to use. It's got Honda's name on it, so of course we like that too. We just know that they're good chargers. They've got a microprocessor in them. They do a great job. So we prefer to use those. A battery tender or anything else typically will do the job for you as well. But the best thing to do is to pull the battery completely out of the unit, put it onto the charger in the garage or whatever, and just leave it all winter long on the charger. So that thing will be good, ready to go for you in the summertime. Next one.
One thing, another good thing too, if you can get the tires up off the ground, if you put it on boards, whatever, it definitely, if you're sitting outside, tires will crack, corrode if they lose pressure with cold weather. That's another step you can go. Another step, obviously, keep the machine clean. This is not a good example of that since it's been outside all year. But corrosion happens. Especially if you're leaving the machine outside or even in a garage that's not climate controlled. Temperature change, through the night, through the day, it definitely wreaks havoc on stuff. Leather on your seats, even. It's important to keep it clean. So.
Also, one of the other two big things that get neglected a lot of times is the brake fluid and also coolant. Two big things that get neglected a lot. A lot of people just think if it's got brake fluid in it and it's got coolant in it that you don't have to worry about it. Not true. Best thing to do is to change that every other year. Kind of go through it and just flush the system out, put new fluid in there so it doesn't become corrosive and start to eat the seals and water pumps and brake master cylinders and things like that. It's good to just flush those out and get fresh fluid in them every other year or every about 12,000 miles on street bikes and such. So it's a good thing to practice as well.
Final drive as well. That's another one, like something like this. If you have a chain, make sure it's lubricated well. You have a good chain loop for it. It definitely helps as well. Moisture can get on that and ruin your chain life. So.
Last thing we really want to go over with you too is just keeping the bikes clean in general. The better that you can be about keeping them clean when you store them and after rides and things like that too. Don't let them sit too long with the dirt and the dust packed on them, because it does just help accelerate the wear and tear on the machine. So best thing you can do is wash them off after every ride. Try and get the dirt and the dust off them. Store them in that condition as well. Again, just kind of helps prevent from excessive wear and wear and tear on the bike. So store them in a clean, dry area if you can. If you're storing them outside, throw a cover over them, do anything you can to try to keep them out of the weather as best you can, and that'll kind of help prolong the life of the bike. So.
And then next season, when it comes up, it is definitely best if you did keep the fuel in it. Go ahead and drain. I know it has a stabilizer, but if you love your bike, go ahead and drain it. Put fresh fuel in it. Make sure that everything's good. Oil as well. Even though you just changed your oil, I realize that there's no miles on it. It definitely can help changing it again. There could be moisture condensation in there that built up depending on how long you let it sit. So, and it's your discretion as well. But if you love your bike, a couple quarts of oil is worth it.
Yep, start it and run it in the summertime, run some of that, stabilized fuel through it, or drain and put fresh fuel in it. Start it, again, run the machine, get it up to running temperature, and then go ahead and get that oil change done, make sure your air filters are clean, all that fun stuff as well. So,
if you have any questions, give us a call, and yeah, feel free to bring it by if you're not comfortable doing it yourself. So.
yeah, also, we have this list of all the things
Online,
that we talked about on our website. If you want to just hop on to HondaWorldSLC.com, we're going to have all this information under the storage guide under service. So you can go ahead and just hop on that and see that link and get all the information off of there as well. So thanks again for tuning in. You guys have a good night.